What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Horticulture Geek. Today we are planting our onions. Hey guys, and welcome back to Horticulture Geek. I'm Ray. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video today. And that is correct. It is January the 24th here. It is a Sunday. And I got my onion shipment from Dixondale Farms. And I am ready to plant my onions. I got two different varieties of onions this year. I got a regular candy onion and a red candy apple onion. And I am going to start and plant in this bed here on the side of the house. For point of reference, there's the little water pond and there's the shade garden. So I'm on the side run of the house here. And I have my garlic planted right there. And you can see I've already worked the soil here. And there is some asparagus. So I've already worked this soil. I've broke it up, loosened it up, and I have added a rich manure-based compost into this dirt. And I've already put in some plant tone, the biotone formula of plant tone. So that plant tone has the biotone in it. So it's going to hit these onions for good root development right off the get-go. And it's going to feed these onions for their leaf growth and their bulb growth. So now all I'm going to be ready to do, now that I've got this work done, is it's time to start planting these onions. So let me flip the camera around and we'll show you what is going on here. Alrighty, so here we have our contents of the box unloaded. And this is what you can expect when you order onion sets like this. They're going to come banded up for shipment. And you can see here I've got my two varieties, the candy, which is a white onion, and the red candy apple, which is my red. And it also comes with a handy dandy planting guide if you're unfamiliar on how to plant your onions. That will be very helpful to you. And you can see I've got a few pulled out here. So you can see in this rubber banding, what you're gonna, you have some that look a little bigger, some that look a little smaller. That's okay. That just means these individual plants were in a little bit at a different stage of development when they were harvested to ship out to you to plant in your garden. Onions are going to be planted about 1 inch deep, no more than 1 inch deep. So you can kind of see that right there. And if you look on this particular one, you know, you can kind of see where the brown papery skin starts and the green leafy stuff starts. So this one is incredibly helpful. You can kind of see that was planted 1 inch at its previous location, and I'm going to do the same thing here. On this one, not so much. You can't really tell. It's hard to tell on this one. It's hard to see. But you just know that about 1 inch is how it should be in the soil for optimum growth. If you go any deeper than 1 inch, your onion is really going to have a hard time bulbing up and forming the onion. So be careful. Don't get excited and don't overplant your onions. But once you have this, it's a super simple process. I mean, it's literally make a little hole, drop it in, firm it up. Make a little hole, drop it in, firm it up. That is all it takes. Okay, let's show that again. So I've done it here. So let's go right here, dig a little hole, firm it up. Now, look what I've done here. I've got two and then one over here. Get that leaf out of the way. Now, this is going to be an example of spacing. You can go roughly 2 inches apart if you want to harvest every other onion early for green onion purposes or small, like you don't want the bulbs to form up. But if you want to have all of your onions bulb up, you want them to go about 4 inches apart. And that may be a little more than 4 inches, but you get the point. So every 2 inches, if you want to harvest every other plant for green onion purposes, or 4 inches if you want to let these bulb up. I prefer to let mine bulb up as much as possible, so I'm going to try to gear myself to the every 4 inch mark. maybe 3 to 4 inches. I mean, this isn't an exact science. You just want to give your onions room to develop. and you want each plant to have enough ground around it that it's going to have its nutrition to pull from and have its space to push out. Because if you have your onions planted too close, let me just pull this one right here. So these two onions now are way too close. They're going to be competing for nutrition. And as they start to bulb up, they're going to push each other and dislodge each other's roots. One's going to win out, or they're both not going to win. They're both going to not thrive. So planting them too close is really not a good option. You don't want to do that. So 2 inches or 4 inches, you be the judge with whatever space you have. But it is that easy, super simple. So I'm going to start plugging these in, and I'll come back in a minute and show you what it looks like. All right, guys. So here we have it. You can see I've got my spacing. They're about 4 inches in a row, and every 4 inches planted. So if you can see here, guys, I've got the 4-inch spacing, so every 4 inches, and that is every 4 inches in both directions. So that allowed me to have 5 plants per row, and I did 4 rows of the white candy onions, 3 full rows of the red candy onions, and then 3 rows of 3 plants of the red candy here to still give room for the asparagus. So I've got 20 white candies in the ground and 24 red candies in the ground. And it took me all of 4 or 5 minutes. So a quick, easy project. Now I just have to water them in and wait for them to grow. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this quick onion planting video. I just wanted you to come along and see what I was up to today here in the garden. As you can see, it's getting kind of evening-y. Had a lot of stuff to do today, so I didn't get a lot of time, unfortunately, in the garden today, but I wanted to get that onion planting started. And I've got more onions to plant besides what I just showed you, but I've got to do some other things for that. But at least I've got those onions in the ground. They can start developing and start growing. As soon as your soil is workable, you can plant onions. And so now's a perfect time for me. So if you're watching this video and you're in a more northern climate, your soil is probably still frozen solid. Now is not the time, unfortunately, to be planting your onions. But for those of us down south, it's the perfect time. And as those soil temperatures start warming up, get it on your to-do list to plant your onions. Like I said, I ordered mine from Dixondale Farms, and I have been very impressed with them. This is my first time ordering onions from them, and I couldn't be happier. They came promptly. They look fantastic. Everything looks good. So if you're considering ordering some onions online, give Dixondale Farms a look. You can Google them and find them and see if they have anything that'll work for you. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, I did put compost into my soil. So that is something else to consider. Your soil needs to be loose and workable and rich, because you have to remember, what does an onion do? It starts out as a little stem, and it's going to bulb out. And if you try to plant an onion into a tight, compact, dense soil, it will not be able to push through that to bulb up. So you want to make sure that your soil is nice and loose and fluffy, but has lots of good organic matter in it so that those onions can be fed. It takes a lot of energy for that plant to do that growth. It's got to grow big leaves, it's got to grow a big bulb, it's got to grow roots. There's a lot going on with an onion, and it takes food to do that. So don't forget to work that compost into your soil and get your soil nice and loose and fluffy. I hope that this has helped you or inspired you. Maybe it's prompted you or reminded you to put that on your calendar to start looking at your onions for this year. And that's the whole name of this game here, right, guys? Is to make sure that we work together and get these things done. And so I hope this video has been encouraging to you or inspiring to you or just informational. And if you want to take it as a how-to, you can certainly do that. I by no means claim to be be an expert on any of these things. I'm just showing you my process and what I'm going through here. But I've still got a lot of work to do in the garden, as you guys can see. But spring is very fast approaching. I'm starting to get excited about it. I know most of you are as well. There is lots and lots to do, lots of prep to be done. I still have vegetable areas that have got to be worked and weeded and amended and fluffed up. I've got mulch that still has to be put down. I mean, the list is already starting to pile up, and here it is, only January. But that's the life of a gardener, and it's something that most of us enjoy doing. So hopefully you enjoy it as well, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you liked it. Leave me some questions in the or comments in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And if for some reason you're not subscribed to Horticulture Geek yet, please hit that subscription and that notification bell, and that way you'll know every time we post a new video here at Horticulture Geek. So you never know what we're gonna do or what we're gonna get up to or where we're gonna go, but I do hope you will follow along and join us on the journey. Until next time, guys, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best and happy gardening.